Okay. Sinalin sa blankong papel sa kanyang mesa. Isang istorya.
Sa tuluyang mong pagpisan, ako ay
Isang
may tanging
istorya ng isang bilanggo ng
Gusto ko na
pandemya.
sanang lumingon at
Animoy,
tumingin.
ang mundo'y
Dahil
nagmistulang
baka hindi
kulungan
ko
na puno ng
mapigilan ang
kadena.
sigaw ng aking damdamin.
Malaya nga ba
Pag lumingon kay
o mahaba lang ang tadhana?
kanaban.
Okay, hello everyone. It's Saturday once again, and this is every Saturday, as always. I'm so excited for this stream. So hello there on Kumu. Hello there, everybody on Kumu. Please keep on sharing the stream and hit the heart button. Hi, Risa. Hello, Risa. And then hello there also on Facebook. Wait, there are 3 comments already. Hello, I'm Jance, Miss Joy Bansale from UK. Hello, Ma'am Leticia from Bacolod. Daw siya kasama namin yung sa LP. Hello, Miss. And hello, Marites. Marites is a good poet also from Middle East. Hello there. So, guys, hello, Sis si Marlene from UK. You're so excited. She's there on Kumu. I know everyone is excited, especially the people that we've met all over Europe muna. Sasabihin ko ba all over the world? Why not? All over the world na tayo. Dahil kung saan-saan lugar kayo naandoon. So, good evening sa mga nasa Pilipinas dyan. Good morning for my friends from Cali who are always waking up so early. Tapos inaaway na lang nila ako after na napupuyat sila because of me. I love you still. And of course, yung nandito sa Europa, my goodness, I love you people. Love you guys. So thank you for being with us. Bakit ako ganito ka-hyper? Kasi yun hong guest natin ngayon. Wala po sa katiting yung pagka-active niya. Talaga, promise, I'm telling you. Yes, and may konting storya muna, guys, ha. Pagpasensya nyo na ako. May konting kwento. The first time that I saw her again, was 2015 sa Malta. There is this conference, and I was in, meron akong parang a portion lang of the conference that I will talk about youth leadership seminar, training, workshop, whatever, ganyan. Basta for youth. And then, I was sent there by the Council on Youth in Northern Italy to talk about how we do it, how we train young people to be a servant leader. Di ba? And then, syempre, salisyon ng dating, di ba? Oh, clue na yan, clue! Servant leadership, alam niyo yan. Kaway-kaway sa mga Bosconians and Salesians dyan, mga FMA. Okay, and my sister Esther is always watching. Hello, ate. Ayan, so, nung nakita ko siya, sabi ko, I remember her face, parang napaka-familiar, but I really can't identify. Saan ko siya nakita? Yung the way she talk, kilala ko siya, pero hindi ko alam. Siguro may kahawig lang siya, so let it pass. Come 2018, nagkita ulit kami sa Paris. Of the same event, meron conference ulit ang mga Pilipino sa Europa, at nandoon din siya, syempre. Nandun din ako, because of my dear friend Don. Nag-tandem kami ni Don also. May hawak din kami na topic na to discuss. And then, nung nakita ko siya, syempre, picture-picture. She was the president nung time na yun. So, picture-picture ako with the president. Syempre, kilig-kilig factor, no? Alam niyo naman ako laging fangirl. Dapat hindi na ako hindi na ako yung accidental, inspirational influencer poet. Dapat ako na yung fangirl poet niyo. But syempre, so, natapos ulit ang conference. Makinig kayo ha. Pagpasensyahan niyo ako ha. For those 11,000 viewing there on Facebook ng Kumu. Kinig lang kayo sa kwento ng tita niyo. And then, after that, nag-post na ng picture. Umuwi ako, nagkaroon ng picture. Nag-post ng picture ang family and I'm with Sister Esther. And then ito na, nag-message na itong guest natin. Sabi niya, how are you related to Sister Esther? Kapatid ko po. Lo and behold, eureka moment. Kaya pala siya familiar sa akin, super duper familiar. Every visiting Sunday pala sa kumbento, nakikita ko siya. Dahil kabatch siya nung kapatid kong madre na isa. So I have two Salesian sisters kasi. Yung younger, kabatch pala siya. Doon lang parang nag-dawn, oh my goodness, kaya pala napaka-familiar niya. At kanina nag-confess ako sa kanya. Sabi ko, when I was young and I was looking at you, noon, sabi ko, sigurado ba tong babaeng tong magmamadre siya? Eh, ang ganda-ganda niya. That was my, di ba, well, I'm not crazy talaga when I was a child. Sabi nga niya kanina, baka ikaw ang dahilan eh, baka hindi ako natuloy magmadre, winish mo hindi ako magmadre. No, it's because, for me ang gandang-ganda ako sa kanya when I was so young. I was young then, nung binivisit namin yung kapatid ko. But anyway, so, yun na yung aking story. That's why I'm so excited and I'm this hyper because of that, that kwento na nagkita ulit kami, pero alam mo niyo yun, magkaiba ng, entirely different. Who would imagine, na doon ulit kami, sa ganung paraan ulit kami magkikita. But anyways, eto na. And this is the first time, guys, that I'll be reading an introduction based on the point of view ng aking guest. No, di ba usually when I introduce my guest, it's on my point of view, on how I research. Pero, syempre, I always ask for bio note, ano yung gusto niya sabihin about about himself or herself. Pero, when she sent me the bio note, this is entirely different and this is so cool. So I'll be reading, hi, Mom Christy from Dubai. Hello. So I'll be reading this introduction on her point of view. So you have to listen carefully. And I hope you will share the same feelings I had when I first read it. Kasi I was laughing talaga on the first part, theory on the middle, then odd at the end. So, let's start. Okay. So, this is how we will introduce our guest on her point of view ang pagbabasa ko, ha? Okay. Let's start. Okay. Born premature in the early hours of the 1st November, my pregnant mother was rushed to St. Joseph's Hospital in the middle of the traditional All Saints' Day graveyard cleanup. I survived my first lockdown in the incubator right after birth. 19 days later, restriction was lifted and was carried straight to church for baptism. Mama always prioritized our spiritual well-being. I was named Elizabeth after the Holy Queen of Hungary. That partly explains why I'm always hungry. At the age 6, I slumped on the street while playing Tumba Patis, an Ilonggo game of hit and run, after losing strength of both legs. Doctors suspected polio but turned out to be severe calcium-potassium deficiency. High dosage of both were pumped into my small frame, turning me into a 100-meter dash champion early in school athletics. At age 9, very talented and patient teachers Miss Miraflores and Miss Flores spotted the declaimer, orator, public speaker in me and rigorously trained me, winning non-stop literary competitions. I took home trophies, certificates, medals, and cash, but nothing beats the blue plastic rack for air drying dishes. Behind the scenes in Lola's farm, I climbed a makapuno tree and landed on an ant hill, having missed a branch but not the black ant's bites. Falling from a cashew tree after disturbing a hideous beehive. Tried skipping a day of high school with friends, riding the bagoneta, and later grappled with a 5-kilo coconut foot shell husk and water on my sluggish bone skull. And that was it. No more escaping the extended lockdowns at home and school. College was most eventful as I chose with Mama's and the Salesian Sister Fosca's prodding to study in the convent and hopefully become a nun. Was I in for a perpetual prayer lockdown? Not quite. It lasted 6 years, enough to develop religious herd immunity and be awarded with a bachelor's degree in education, major in English, minor in theology. Teaching is very close to my heart, so days after graduation, Assumption San Lorenzo, Sisters Annunciata and Rejovic made me simultaneously responsible for 2 high school classes to include current Philippine Senator Grace Poe, Tourism Secretary Berna Romulo, Luli, daughter of Philippine President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, and high-profile community leaders in and out of the country. I earned a teaching scholarship from Ateneo Manila University in literature, which nurtured my love for poetry, writing, and storytelling. Completed postgrads in human resources management, specialized in training and development, and eventually school management. A deeply fulfilling career in multinational organizations set me crossing 4 continents as Director of Human Resources. An appointment in ancient China topped them all, having tagged a Swiss, perhaps equal or more valuable than a Chinese artifact, as deeply loving spouse and devoted father to our 3 achieving kids. In my subcontinent posting, I got twice elected president of ASEAN Women and served the community in the region endlessly. Archbishop Pinto of the Diocese of Karachi one Sunday sermoned at St. Patrick's Cathedral on building up the parish, and that inspired me to teach adult catechism, prepare the younger generation for the sacraments, and pray with them daily. Terrorism was rife in Pakistan at this time with the assassination of Pakistan President Benazir Bhutto, and kept my guardian angels busy protecting me and my family day and night. Decades of constant relocation became disadvantages to our growing kids who needed stability, so we gave up expat life, and since a decade being growing been growing roots in Switzerland. Prayer led me to local Swiss school principal's job, Cambridge English, and theater teaching. Simultaneously with family and teaching job, I co-founded and set up a Filipino diaspora in Switzerland and experienced tremendous support. Eventually, I was elected chair Europe-wide, but got put because of questions that was questionable and stood up for those without a voice. I love this. My commitment to community building continue as editor-in-chief of Fruits and Wings, Phil European longest-running e-magazine. My love for the Blessed Mother always leads me to serve her in the Catholic Church. Happy to be elected president and serve the Legion of Mary Presidium in my city. I hope I said it right. I give in full what I receive in terms of time, talent, and resources. And when my hour comes, I hope to be able to stand in front of him who created me and hear him say, faithful daughter Betsy, come and inherit the kingdom. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, my friends all over the world, please help me welcome Miss Betsy Hansen Vonatzigen. Hello, 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 Miss Betsy.
You did great. Thanks, Lani, for having me. Thank you.
Thank you for saying yes. For saying yes. Hello, hello.
That's the best answer you can have, you know. A yes, a yes.
Oh,
Yes
yeah.
to someone's invitation. A good one, yeah.
Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. Hello there again. Would you like to say hello to our friends on Facebook and on Kumu who are watching right now? Hi, Malen.
Hi. Thank you for having me. Thank you for spending a little bit of your time listening to what Betsy has to share this afternoon. Thank you to all my Facebook friends. I contacted them last night and I said, hey, it's a good opportunity actually to reconnect after months, a year of not being able to visit them in the Philippines. Yeah.
True, that's so true. Oh, sabi niya, hello, Ate Betsy, miss you. That is Marlene of UK. She's
Hi,
here on
Marian. Thank
yeah.
you for the tag. Thank you. I love it. Yeah, and I miss
They're
you
so
too.
they're so excited seeing you. Oh, talaga, si Miss Betsy ang guest mo. Sabi ko, well, nothing less. Ayan. Ayan si Sister Esther. Ayan, Miss
Hi,
Betsy.
this is Esther. Happy to have you too.
Guys,
Yes.
Esther Silva, Sister Esther Silva is my sister talaga actually. Kapatid ko po siya. So, huwag niyo po akong hanapan ng kabaitan. Yung mga kapatid ko po mababait. Miss Betsy here also is mabait. But anyway.
It's in your bloodline too. Yeah.
But yeah, this is a good thing because we would be discussing something that is maybe I've seen you declaim sa Malta. I've seen you. Oh my goodness, with all the. It was awesome. It was really awesome. Pero
Yeah.
itong stream na to is about poetry. And that is something new maybe for other friends who might not really, heard you deliver or share poetry. But my first question is, Miss Betsy, when
Yeah.
did you start writing poetry?
I can't even remember exactly when, but as a child, I've always been drawn to literature. I love
Mhm.
reading Robert Frost, elementary school. And there is one short poem which I would like to share with you. It's just 3 lines. It's not a haiku, but it's a beautiful poem, which I learned when I was in high school. It's called The Slaughterhouse, Play Number 5.
Oh.
Man is born broken. He lives by mending. The grace of God is glue. And that really, that really attracted me. It was a magnet to poetry. And of course, growing up in a household where the Bible was always open and daily masses were a must. Psalm 23 of King David, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. In verdant pastures, he gives me repose. So all these poetry, and I love to memorize things. So they're right here, even as we speak,
I know, I can just imagine. I mean, it's if you can't remember really, so it must, have been since maybe when you start to understand how word works, right?
Yeah,
How
yeah,
they can be put into a beautiful, they can be arranged beautifully and produce something that is, something that might be inspiring, not only for
definitely,
others, but for you. So,
definitely.
so
And
with
I
that,
always say words are pregnant with meaning. Just give me a word, and I can tell you yes, so many descriptions already just from one word.
just from one word. Is it,
Yeah.
maybe because it's sabi mo nga, it's from, in your family. It runs in the family that most of you are into literature, into writing, maybe, or to reading, or to something that is, you
Yeah,
know,
Mama loves writing letters. She must have written letters in abundance. Every single day I would see her writing to my brother who was in the seminary, then writing to me and writing to someone who is in the Carmelite monastery, another sister. So it is common practice to use words, to express with words, and to be able also to inspire others with words.
with words, yes. And imagine, guys, when I asked, I didn't actually ask her, but sabi nga niya, just 2 albums of poetries. How about that? How about that? 2 albums of poetry. So parang really, I am gathering, something that I've learned in an instant, knowing that you have 2 albums, is that, my goodness, I am giving poetry as a gift, pero I never really, you know, uh, keep keep a copy. I mean, usually I will give them, and then na-realize ko, oo nga no, even if you give them to people as a
Yeah,
gift, you must have your own copy. So that,
certainly. Yeah.
yes, one thing that I've really, oo nga no, I have
Have an
to gather,
archive. Yeah.
to the point of maybe I will ask, di ba I gave you a poem? Can you give me a copy?
That's
No?
it. You should get your own collection back. Yeah.
Yes. But Miss Betsy, with your writing, you've mentioned already, so it's easily, I can easily connect it now with your prayer life and your poetry.
Yes.
Parang, uh, how was it, how was it really, what do you need ba to ask it straight? What do you need to write poetry? Is it time? Is it, time,
Oh,
inspiration,
I tell you, the
ambience?
very first element that I really use and I need and I seek out is silence. When it's not just silence around us, it's not external silence, it's basically the silence in here and in here as well. And when one is silent, one is able to reflect, one is able to meditate, and I love to reflect and meditate practically every single day. And when the place, my mind and my heart, all of these are silent, the inspiration flows. I don't even have to make an effort. You know what I mean? It just flows. And when it flows, I always carry a pen with me, or I'm in front of my computer or on the mobile and start writing down.
Right.
But I can tell you the bulk of my poetry happened when I was in the convent in Canluang. instead of meditating really in front of God, on scriptures, I was writing poetry.
Oh, one bisto na, Ate Esther. Binisto na ni Miss Betsy.
One
No,
poem after another.
but before you
Yeah,
deliver, yeah, sorry to cut you. But before you deliver that piece, pero you, I mean, I was surprised na. Oo nga na silence. How important can silence be? I mean, all of us, poet usually, ayan, yung mga nasa Kumu there, na mga makata, aminin natin, kalimitan, ang answer natin kapag tinanong, what do you need to write poetry? Inspiration agad. Pero when Miss Betsy mentioned silence, oh my gosh, yeah, you're right. You need not only the silence of the ambience, but
yeah.
silence within, silence of the heart, silence of the mind. That's so cool.
And
Ito,
let me add, because
yes.
today, I mean, social media is in thing.
Mhm.
Everybody turns to it. Everybody has a handphone, a smartphone. Everybody has access to YouTube. Everybody has access to Kumo and to Facebook and everything
True.
else online. And that leaves a very little chance for silence. Because social media keeps us very busy visually. Graphic is there, text is
Mhm.
there, sound is there. But when we really look for silence, I've got to switch this off.
Mhm.
And there is time for social media. I enjoy social media. It's been highly beneficial. We reach out to people like right now. You're talking to me. We're talking to you. And I'm also trying to communicate and reach out to friends whom I haven't met in a long time. But I go back to silence, and it's got real value,
Mhm.
not just in poetry, but in life as a whole.
Yeah, it's true. Wow! Guys, simula pa lang 'yan, no, 'di ba? Simula pa lang 'yan. But this is why I'm so excited. I know we would learn so much from Miss Betsy. Hi, Adabo World. Hi, Mix. Thank you, thank you. Jurhi, hello. Thank you for being with us. You have to stick around kasi talaga there's so many things that we would really hear good from Miss Betsy. Marites from the Middle East, sabi niya, true. When you want to write something, just close your eyes and imagine and explore that ideas would come. Yes, yes. That's true. So talagang hi Doc Edwin. Hello there. So can you say that, with every, for example, because you said that you just need silence to write, but was there a time, or what would be the time that entailed you to have, extreme emotion to be able to write a piece poetry?
Oh, yes. Emotions drive ideas. Emotions, I must say, is a well for inspiration. Like, for example, everyone goes through challenges, right? Difficult times, things you question around and people question you. And it's a good time also to just step back, withdraw a little bit, and then find out what's going through in your life, what's going through in your heart and in your mind. And again, for me, the best thing to do is to pick up the pen or use the keyboard and write them down. Yeah,
Right
I've
now.
had I've had the opportunity of extreme successes in life, one after another. I prayed for them. I worked hard to achieve them. Like, for example, at school, and there's a literary competitions. Believe me, all the competitions that I entered, I never lost, not even once. And I said,
Oh,
oh Lord, how generous you are. What did I do to deserve this? But I never lost. And out of that feeling of gratitude for the success in front of me, I penned it down. Poetry. Poetry comes easily, especially when there is so much to write, but you can only put together this much.
mhm.
And poetry is the best genre of literature to use. Short stories, fine, fantastic. The novel is even longer. I don't have time for a novel, but I certainly find time for poems.
So that's why I think they are eager already to hear a poetry that you made during the time that you were there, that supposedly, how do you call it, meditating. in the chapel, but instead of
Now you got me there.
but instead of still, I am sure
Oh
that
my
it's
God.
a beautiful one. So, guys, are you ready? We will be hearing a piece from Miss Betsy. When you're ready, Miss Betsy.
Let me start with something which I wrote about myself. This is way back in 1983, and it's pretty deep about myself. Yeah, I was looking at a flower. I was looking at a rose. And behind me, I've got fresh tulips there for the Blessed Mother, today being the first Saturday, and it's her day. And I wrote here, after God made me, he broke the mold. A bud belongs to its own sepals and blossoms in its own branch. It draws breath from its own soil, its own watered, cultivated ground. It is when the bud receives warmth, generously showered by the sun, and nourishment by a mothering soil, does it open, share the beauty of its being. A woman is born when her time comes to fulfillment. She has a capacity to give self to God, a reality to fully wonder at. It presupposes a deep conviction of being loved by the Father, a self-assured ground founded on nothing else but a quake-proof faith. Her own sepals, petals, even soil are her own gifts of uniqueness. She's individuality unrepeated. Individuality unrepeated. And to her, one can ultimately say, after God made you, he broke the mold. Wow. That's it.
Oh my gosh! Sayang wala kang clapping effect, but that's beautiful. Would you like to share more on why or how you were able to come up with this beautiful?
Okay. I've got another one here, which was written during one of those meditation mornings. I have a confession to make, but don't repeat this to others. Every single morning for 6 years in Canlubang, that's a convent where your sister Esther and I practically grew up together when we were teens. Part of our morning routine was to get up after 4, and Canlubang is cooler, yeah? What does a 15-year-old do, like me? 4 o'clock in the morning is too early. I would yawn nonstop, and I would yearn back for my bed, for my pillow. But of course, I had to go to the chapel. It was time for meditation. And meditation always started with the Word of God, a scripture being read to us, or spiritual reading. But instead of reading and listening to these scriptures, I would fall asleep nonstop. Talaga, I never succeeded in this area. I would never be able to keep my eyes open and meditate. So I would stand up, I would feel a tap on the back telling me, Betsy, get up, take a walk outside, wake up, and then come back. So I would come back. And going back to the chapel, instead of meditating, forgive me, Lord, I wrote poetry. And here's another one. It's entitled, Just as Light is in the Avocado Tree. Avocado. Walang avocado dito sa amin, ha? Pero doon, meron. There grows a young avocado tree close to the chapel, close to the altar. When morning comes, and I do come to meet the Lord and encounter him, I must by all means humble self first at the sight of my imperfections. And what do I see? A self full of shadows, almost darkened by weaknesses. In an instant, I turn my gaze out of the window, and there I see, close to the altar, an avocado tree covered with leaves, some withered, some fresh, some dark, some light, some large enough to cover a branch, some small, tiny, quite vague for me to see. But in that avocado tree, it is not the withered leaf that I must see, nor its imperfections that I must linger on. Rather, don't I see those streaks of light, penetrating, finding their way between leaves and branches. Just as light is in the avocado tree, God is in me. There's your avocado tree poem.
Out of the meditation in the chapel, when you were saying that, I was really, closing my eyes and meron bang avocado malapit na? Because guys, I know the chapel that Miss Betsy was referring to. But those are two beautiful poems, no?
Thank
Something that
you.
sabi ni Sister Esther, Mother Anna Maria understood you very well, whatever was happening in prayer.
Sure, I know.
Marites said, galing, enjoy. Miss Joy Bansali of UK, of course, is also applauding. Yeah, these are two pieces that you shared. Has to do something with you as a young you then, right? You were a teenager then.
Yeah.
I mean, can you elaborate more on how you were able to? First, you describe you as a flower. Am I right? On the first
Yeah.
poem that you
Yes.
shared. And
That
then
was
the
a
other side, you as if you were uh you know sharing life as it is compared into those fruits of different colors, different. How can you? How come? I mean, how are you able to the metaphor of all these poetries that you were able to write?
Mhm. Before writing a piece of literature like this one, poetry, you look around. And when you look around, you see things, you hear people, you hear music, you hear even just a tiny whisper from the wind. This gush of wind, I hear it. It reminds me of the Blessed Mother when she appeared to Catherine Labouré in Paris, in Rue de Bac, through this gush of wind. And Catherine felt she was there, she was present. When we are present to things around us, the inspiration takes place. And you can vividly describe these. With the use of words, I find words extremely powerful. There is power in the word that we pen, power in the word that we speak, that we utter, and there is power also in the word that we hear, we listen. That's why for me, when I started, when I start with silence, I hear. And whatever I hear, I write down. It's an excellent opportunity to reflect on life, yeah? I would see myself as a bud, as a flower. I would see myself sometimes also as a doormat. When you're feeling really low and people are stepping on you, oh my God, here it comes again. But I have to shake that off because I know I'm not a doormat.
Yeah.
And there were times also when I felt like a whole truckload of garbage was being emptied upon me. Again, but for me, this is not true. And I should not accept it, but that experience brings it in. Yeah. Silence, the vividness of words, the graphics in the mind all around us, they bring about literature. Yeah. And of course, I always say this. We start with an inherent talent. God has given us that talent. You and I, we write. You and I, we talk. You and I, we can express ourselves clearly, efficaciously. I love that word. That comes from Don Bosco. You have that efficacy of speech. But it also requires education. It requires a nurturing of this talent. And that brings me to the Ateneo in Manila, Loyola Heights. I had a wonderful, wonderful professor. Let me just briefly narrate to you what happened one day. This is Father Joseph Galdon. May God bless his soul. He's gone. Father Joseph Galdon was Jesuit. And I loved going to the Ateneo to study. And it was a scholarship, a teacher scholarship that brought me there. And I really felt privileged to be able to receive that kind of scholarship. And Father Galdon was always talking about poetry, short story, side by side with scriptures. And that's what I loved about it, because I had both my religious formation and my literary formation, something like juxtaposed, yeah? And Father Galdon at some point said, oh, Betsy, you are getting radical in your writing. I said, what is radical when you write about faith? And you share experiences of faith with experiences of happenings, yeah, around you. And Father Galdon would always tell me, okay, if this is the kind of direction that you take, then prove to me that it can be done. And that's how I really pushed forward my poetry, my essays. And in the end, I'm so glad he gave me an A at the end of that semester. Yeah.
That is so great. You know, Miss Betsy, before we continue for my next question,
Yes.
many people, many friends from Facebook are thanking you. Wow, I got more pointers in writing poems through you, Madam, sabi ni Marites. And also, my good friend AK said, thanks po sa pointers, ma'am. O, di ba? You being an educator, hindi pa rin makakaalpas. While you're talking, people are learning from you. And Risa Bondoc, sabi niya, I can relate when you express, sometimes the ups and downs of feelings and how you can relate that. You can, pour everything. And Risa Bondoc, Miss Betsy, is the miracle child.
Hi, Risa.
Siya yung,
I admire you and your story.
Yes. She was the student that made me, okay, let me handle them. Yes, and then she's a very, very nice young lady. Anyways, continuing with what you've mentioned now, I've seen when you mentioned, the power of the pen and the words.
Yes.
And talking about power, how could you say, how could you elaborate on the power of the words, the power of the pen that you were discussing? How, I know you. I mean, we've met several times, but for the people who are watching right now, can you elaborate more on how can this pen and words be powerful?
It's amazing. Yeah, you just bring back Jose Rizal, our dear national hero.
Yes. Should I bring out my filibusterismo here, Miss Betsy?
We studied that, didn't we? Noli tangere, el filibusterismo.
Oh, yes.
And we memorized my last farewell. Adiós, patria dorada, región nuestra querida, perla del mar de oriente, nuestro perdido Eden. Noli tangere, el filibusterismo, Jose Rizal. He had a noble mission to fight with his pen, with his words. And I think he succeeded. He succeeded in all respect. The word has got its power, and I call it a mighty power. Let me bring you to Holy Scriptures. This is the first love of my life. The Bible is a book. I have it right here. And as a book, what you do there, see that? Die Bibel. And it is in German. Oh, I'm struggling with my German, but that's okay. I read it, yeah? The word has got its power. The word has got its majesty. The word has got immense meaning. And the word has got immense push. For me, when I sit down here and I think of the power of the pen, the power of the word, it makes me embrace life. It makes me develop that concentration because I know I have to write. I have to have the right word for a sentence, for a line, for a stanza in my poetry. It requires a lot of training of the mind. The word also makes me hanker for spiritual knowledge, and it drives my growth, not just spiritually, but as a person. And as I grow in my own knowledge, and I love to share, like you, we love with social media, sharing our life, sharing our poetry, sharing our story, sharing our essays. It also drives the growth of our readers. It drives the growth of our friends, our contacts. And in the end, for me, and this is very, very important, the word cultivates gratitude in my attitude. It cultivates gratitude in my attitude. So I began in your show here thanking you for inviting me. I began my life thanking God also for creating me despite that I was short of 9 months. I began my journey across 4 continents where I have lived, thanking a wonderful source of this career. And all of these are contained in my poetry, the word. There is power in it. Sometimes you can't really explain what it is. So what you do, you just pick it up and read it. And when you read that word, you will feel how deep it can go down, really.
Yeah.
Or sometimes you just stay on the superficial, the surface, and still it carries that weight. Light or heavy, that is the power of the word. And because there is power in the word, it affects a change in the life. It affects a change in the mentality, in the attitude. It affects a change when we deal with other people. Yeah. It affects a change in my leadership capacity, my leadership style. The word. Yeah. It's amazing.
When you write, when you use these words that you say can push you really doing the best that you can, do you intend to to inspire, or do you really intend to do this so that people will be pushed, or you just do this because that is you, that's something that is natural without really having the intention to do so, or you have specific you know intention or objective in doing writing these powerful words?
Yeah. None of the above.
So what's the answer?
No. I would like to do it on purpose, but I can't. I would like to do it for the others, but it doesn't happen like that way. What happens is every time I write, it's always preceded by prayer. This is my spiritual life. This is me. Take away prayer from me, I crumble. I can't do anything. So when I pray, even just with the sign of the cross, even when I just say, "Oh, Mama Mary, today is your day. It's a fast Saturday." And I think of the Blessed Mother, and I can already pin something just because of that. So the answer is, there is heavenly inspiration. There is something that comes from above, that comes down without me really wanting it. Of course, I pray for it, but for me to push for it, it doesn't happen that way. It's like I'm here. I'm an empty vessel. Fill me, Lord. Fill me, Mama Mary, and it comes filling up.
I mean, you know what, guys? For those who are listening there on Kumu Hello, and those who are listening, watching from Facebook, when Miss Betsy mentioned that it's Mama Mary's Day because it's first Saturday, it dawned to me. You know what? After last week's episode, parang all of a sudden, parang I became empty. Parang okay, who would be my next guest? And Wednesday na, I can't think. I can't think of anyone to invite. I have so many friends. I can invite, anyone, but it just so happened that I don't work that way. Parang I would like to introduce poetry nga, as I've mentioned to you kanina sa backstage, di ba? To different level, These people are busy. They have their own lives, but still, the love for poetry is there at the side. And so, yun yung tinitignan natin on this stream. And I prayed. When you said you pray, without prayer, you would be, nothing, or you would crumble. Same thing na parang I prayed. And lo and behold, isang usap ko lang sa'yo, guys, isang sabi ko lang kay Miss Betsy. I mean, yeah, prayer is so powerful. I mean, I believe in that of what you've said. Talagang, and then, with that, sabi niya, si Risa may question sa'yo eh. And I think nasagot mo na, but still, I would like to read Risa's question. Who inspires you to write?
Inspires me the most? I can give you 3.
Okay.
It's not the Holy Trinity. Right. I am married to a wonderful, wonderful husband. And he is also the product of prayer. It took me 7 long years praying on my knees. And I said, Lord, and of course, the Blessed Sacrament, right, is always there. I'm always there in front of the Blessed Sacrament. I said, Lord, if you want me to get married, because I pushed myself to become a nun together with your sister, Sister Esther. And I found out that was not God's calling for me. So I said, I have to find my own calling. And I prayed for a man. 7 long years I waited. And upon arrival in one of my foreign postings, which was in Xi'an, China, ancient capital of China, the chef of the hotel was just crossing. I was checking in, and he was crossing the lobby. And when I turned my head like that and I saw him, immediately, you won't believe this, there was this voice in my mind which said loud and clear, this is the man for you. 2 years later, we got married. This is the one who has been a really big inspiration for me. And behind him comes the Blessed Mother, comes the Blessed Trinity. And number 2, I have, maybe it's not it was given to me. Or maybe I have inherited it from my mother. I have a strong devotion to the Blessed Mother. The Blessed Mother for me is Mama. I wrote a beautiful poem for her and about her in my earlier days. The Blessed Mother for me is the person who takes my hand every time I do something, I go somewhere, especially it's new, it's strange, and I am not quite prepared what to do there. But she is there. And she's such a wonderful person that whatever I ask for in prayer, she intercedes for me, and her son grants it. And the third person that I would like to share with you, who inspires me a lot, is my daughter. My husband and I got married on the 8th of September, and that's the birthday of our Blessed Mother. We got married in San Agustin Church. See, I had to drag 16 of my family members, my husband's family members, to Manila in order to witness our wedding. This is 28 years ago. And in front of the Blessed Mother at San Agustin Church, she has a big, beautiful statue there on the side of the Blessed Sacrament. And I spoke to her and I said, Mama Mary, di ba pag ikinakasal, nakakatanggap ng regalo? And she said, yes. You know me, yes. Anong regalo mo? So sabi ko, Mama Mary, may I please have a baby daughter as my first child? And on the 8th of September, exactly 2 years later, my daughter was born. We call her Marie Dominique. Yeah, Dominique, you would know Marie Dominique Marie Santa Maria Domenica Mazzarello. That for me is an embodiment of the years that I have spent with the Salesian sisters. So these are my 3 biggest inspirations. But the underlining inspiration always is from above. And no doubt about that.
Yes. Amen to that. Oh my goodness. Kanina when you mentioned your first inspiration, kinikilig ako dito kanina. Oh my goodness. I think I've heard this story before. You've shared this story. Pero alam mo yung, di ba, guys, alam niyo kung hindi po ako yung host, sasabihin ko sana, Mom ni left the stream. Bye. Because of the kilig factor. No? It's so, I mean, di ba, it's really very inspiring. And everything, I think, everything that you've mentioned, the inspiration is really connected with you being a prayerful woman.
Yeah.
You being, and it's there that you gain power. And it's through this power that you are able to share your talents, and one of which is poetry, writing poetry and delivering poetry, which is very, something that is, kanina it's fun when you were discussing, when you were delivering, it's really fun to listen to, oh nga, no, how sometimes simple things,
Yeah.
Simple things can really inspire you to do something or to think of something that is, pleasant, something good. And with this with this three things that we intertwined together, we connected. What would your except for the pen that you've mentioned several times now, it will start with the pen. What else can you advise those who are into writing poetries, those who are really into this kind of art, as we could say, that sabi mo nga, it's given to you, it's a talent already. Pero there are people kasi, Miss Betsy, na when we started the stream, they would tell me, I'm not actually into writing poetry. But later on, lo and behold, they will come back to me saying that, I have three poetries already. I would like
Oh,
to share it with you. So,
oh,
alam mo yun. So, sometimes sila na mismo yung nagpo-put down sa sarili nila na they're not good into writing. How can you, inspire them, tell them, whatever message that you would like to tell them?
start with something easy and simple. Start from the heart. Start from the heart. I love haikus. It's a form of poetry which is really short, and it's 3 short lines. You've got 17 syllables, 5 syllables, 7 syllables, and then you have another 5 syllables. If you want something controlled, you can do that. Or you can just do a blank verse. Write a blank verse. Write something which just comes out. Don't stress yourself with writing poetry. Because when you're stressed, the creativity is lost. For me, that's why I always say silence. When you're silent, you're relaxed. And when you're relaxed, it comes and it flows. And then if you're the type who would love rhymes, go into rhyme poetry, I have a tip. You know, the thesaurus book of synonyms, they're fantastic. I love the thesaurus.
Yes.
I remember when I was in high school, and somebody asked me, Betsy, what would you like for your birthday present? And I said, may I please have a thesaurus? And this is
Yes, thesaurus, yeah. Guys, thesaurus is before Google. Rule our lives. We have the thesaurus.
Highlight the words which I love the most. Like, for example, just for the word beautiful, you can express beautiful in 110 times. Check out your thesaurus. And then the free verses, they just come and then they flow, yeah. And then there are epic poetry, lengthy ones. I can tell you, turn to the book of Psalms. There are 150 Psalms in the book of Psalms. And the longest of them all is 114, Psalm 114. And you've got epic poetry there. Look at samples. Be inspired by existing poetry. You don't have to start from scratch. Say something which you like to say. And then there is pastoral poetry, lyric poetry, soliloquies. If you are fond of Shakespeare, go to Hamlet, listen to his soliloquy. I remember in Assumption, you remember Mother Rose Hall?
Yeah, of course. Yes, of course.
Presented. I love theater. And part of my literary classes, we've got to come up with one Shakespeare play a year.
Oh, yes. And they still do it, right? They still do it. Before pandemic, I'm talking about before pandemic.
Before the pandemic, yes.
Before the pandemic, they do that every year. And they have a bigger theater now, the Meta. So
yeah, it's unbelievable. I had a visit with Sister Rejovic, like before the pandemic. I was home in San Lorenzo, and I said, "Oh my God!" But during our time, it was a Mother Rose Hall.
Mother Rose Hall. Yes.
These pieces of poetry can be. Poetry is best delivered aloud. Hear it. Speak aloud. Say it aloud. Like what you did earlier. You read my poems aloud. And then you can really examine, wow, how does that sound? Poetry is not meant to be read visually. Poetry is meant to be heard. Yeah. And when you hear it, then you realize that it is actually that kind of poem you want.
Yes. Oh my goodness. This is so before we end the stream, I would like to express for how many episodes we had. This is the first time that this really, maybe because it's you as my guest, that talagang we were able to go back. Yeah, Psalm. The book of Psalm is about, everything is poetry there. So,
Yes.
oo nga, no? This is so refreshing. I mean, I am awed. I am awed. Up to the last minute of this stream. Thank you, Miss Betsy. Sabi ni Marites, sabi ni si Risa, yeah, it's different now. MRA has been renovated. Yes, thank you, Risa, for the info. Marites said, wow, that's how I am writing Ilocano poems too. Yeah,
Oh,
she writes Ilocano poems. Too
oh,
much Ilocano words to use that needs Ilocano dictionary.
yes.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Oh, thank you for that, Marites, for that info. Miss
Love.
Betsy, I mean, this is so wonderful, really. An hour of, I mean, we've discussed, the how we connect poetry into something that, from the beginning, I would always say, and I believe, and I will just, reaffirm what you've said, that we are all given the talents. No? We have different kinds of talents. And to be able to write poetry, to be able to deliver it, and to be able to be effective in this kind of art is a gift that we have to nourish.
Yes.
Really have to nourish. We have to share this, di ba? We have to, because it is a God-given talent, you have to, somehow bring it out and give glory to the one who gave it to you. And
Exactly.
and and this is so wonderful. And with that, you've mentioned the power of words, the power of how really we could utilize every word into, and it always going back to the glory of God. Miss Betsy, really, I am so amazed still, and I'm so grateful that this Saturday arrived with you as my guest. So, with that, would you like to say something to part with our people
Yes.
who are listening?
Thank you. I would like to thank also the listeners, our friends and new friends, our your contacts have now been my contact. And I just would like to um, make an invitation. Yeah. It's poetry in process and at the same time in experience. The Legion of Mary is celebrating its 100-year jubilee in Dublin, in Ireland, come September 2021. And as you know, the founder of the Legion of Mary, Frank Duff, he's written our book, the handbook, and in a way, it's also very poetic there, what he has written. And I'm in the process of writing poems for the Blessed Mother in honor of her Legion of Mary. Legion of Mary is the largest lay organization movement in the Catholic Church, maybe with about 15 million members, active and praying members. So those of you who are into writing poetry and you would like to write one for the Blessed Mother, for Our Lady, in honor of the Legion of Mary, her own Legion of Mary, send to Laani and share with me. And we can make a book out of it. Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's a very good idea. Marites, sabi niya nga, oy, thank you. You're such an inspiration, ma'am. Risa, now I'm starting poetry. Oh my goodness, Risa, that's so nice to know. See, Betsy, Miss Betsy, how influential you are. I mean, with just an hour, you inspired these ladies that are listening to us right now. You're
Thank
ano
you.
na rin. You are a influencer na.
Thank you.
Yes,
And
hello,
before
good.
you started with my poetry, you opened the show with my poetry. May we close it with a last piece of poetry?
Yes, of course. Of
And I'd
course,
like to
Miss
read it
Bet.
to you from my album. Let me just pick it up. Yeah. And this is
Ayan.
an antique album which I still keep. Look at that. Yeah.
Guys, look.
Oh, look at
Oh my
that. Even with pictures,
goodness.
long time
Yeah,
back.
even though, yeah. Guys, those are the Stampita of Mary Help of Christians. Yeah. O,
Every
di
one of
ba?
Christians, I'm so
Oh,
devoted to her.
yes.
So I would like to close and thank you very much for inviting me here. This poem is entitled Mary, the Woman Full of Christ. Mary, a name sweet as it is, soft and gentle as a word that comes from Jesus' lips. Surpassing in greatness is its worth, truly blessed, hailed and valued forth. Mary, the woman who said yes is a woman who still says yes. Yes to the Father, and yes to Jesus, her Son. Never was an act done by her to have displeased both Lord and Master. For Amen was the word that lived, hence buried in her heart. Mary, the other Christ, the woman full of Christ, who, with abundant faith and grace, gives and continues to give Christ to you, to me, and to us all. Mary, the woman full of Christ. That's it.
Amen. Oh my God. The prayer and the poem, how wonderful it is, to end the stream with that prayer and the poem together. Di ba? I mean, talagang if you prayed for it. Guys, when I prayed for what would be the title for this Saturday, it's not my words. The title didn't really just came out from me. It's really a divine providence that, the prayer, power, and poetry with Miss Betsy. And really, I can't thank you enough, Miss Betsy. I mean, nothing happens by chance. For the first Saturday of this month, to be with you, to rekindle, the relationship with Mary. I mean, for me, guilty ako doon. Alam niyo na mga kapatid ko, I am the most naughty kapatid that they ever had.
Oh my God.
So, I mean, you rekindled so many things. The love for Mary, the faith, everything that you've mentioned. I don't have to say it more, but you inspired not only those who are watching us right now, especially me, and I'm really so grateful for that. Chinchin Laroy is a teacher also from Thailand. Sabi niya, ang ganda. Wow, natutuwa siya. And Miss Joy Bansale from UK, it's lovely to hear Betsy's poem and prayer. And love, thanks for the invite. Have a good weekend to all. God bless you all. Thank you, Joy. Thank you, thank you.
Salamat, Joy.
Miss Betsy, with that, I'm really hoping that after this pandemic, we will see each other again this time with everything, with all the history that happened, how I met you even then, so many decades ago. Still now, hindi na ako magwa-wonder who is this wonderful, beautiful woman that I saw that is so familiar. I hope next time that when we see each other, talagang it would be, a reunion of people who know each other way back, and with all these wonderful experiences that we have to share with each other. Thank you for sharing yours this afternoon. Thank you. And thank you for giving us the time. I know you have a very busy schedule, but you were able to give us the time this afternoon. Thank you. Thank you. With that, yes. Thank you. God bless you, Miss Betsy. Guys, we will be ending the stream. Pero kami ni Miss Betsy, may chikahan pa ng 1 minute sa backstage. So, amin na lang yon. But see you again next week. Next week would be Poetry and Fashion with Mama Renessa Lud. So, bye guys. We love you. Keep safe, everyone. God bless.
Yes.